Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, game number one of the evening here in the Gfinity StarCraft 2 Cup. We're currently hopping over to the Korean server to play this one, and spawning to the top left position on Coda as the red player representing ROCCAT, it's HyuN. In this mirror matchup, he's going to be playing against the blue Zerg in the bottom right-hand position. He plays for Samsung, incredibly strong player, going by the name of Armani. Pretty cool matchup already, and this is in the round of 32. There are just going to be good games basically all evening long here. I'm really looking forward to seeing who's going to end up in the finals tonight. So many good StarCraft players in this bracket. I also eyed up Snoot and Mana around as well. Mana, of course, fresh off the back of the WCS finals. I'll be very keen to see some of his games later on if I can. For now, though, we have a ZVZ going on. No early pulls from either player, so no quote-unquote trademark aggression in best of threes, and that's because, well, I guess these guys don't necessarily see the opponent, they'd be correct, as any sort of easy win or anything like that. I think they're also really quite good friends on the Korean server and ladder as well, so not really the kind of position where you would immediately say, aha, well, let's go ahead and see if I can cheese this guy into oblivion. They've probably played each other enough times that they know that's unlikely to work. Now, Armani is going for the pool first prior to getting his hatchery down, as opposed to HyuN, who's going for his hatch first. So we'll see if he goes hatch into pool, or if he's going to be taking gas first as well. Okay, so he goes hatch, gas, and then pool. If you want to be ultra greedy, which can often lead to scary situations, you tend to go hatch, and then potentially like drone, or hatch, drone, and then pool. And that can get awfully scary against some more aggressive tactics. We don't see any of that coming out of here today, though. Right, so in the meantime now, we have the faster queen, of course, coming out from Armani since the spawning pool is already complete. Of course, the disadvantage is that you'll have larvae coming out of this hatchery from HyuN significantly sooner since he went hatch first. So it's all checks and balances, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and we're more or less going to be getting into an equivalent position a couple of minutes into this game. Armani has the first couple lings already out on the map. HyuN is going to see them right now with this Overlord. I don't even think he needs to click on that. As long as he sees the dots on the mini-map, he can basically go, oh yeah, that's 2 lings, or that's 4 or 6 lings. And he'll know exactly what's going on. From that alone, he will know that Armani went for a pool first. And basically, that's just confirming it because he saw the hatchery timing as well. So all is well and good. The first couple of lings from HyuN are out now as well, and they're going to be attacking the lings of Armani. This is about as exciting as the action is going to get early on in the game. Stegosaurus lings always win, by the way. You can tell because they are more aerodynamic. And as a result, Armani's lings are basically at 50% health. And HyuN's lings, unfortunately, are completely full life. Armani is not going to be enjoying that at all. Losing a ling early on, but getting a full scout both sides. Going for Zergling speed. We have a Baneling Nest popping down now for Armani at the front, so not necessarily trying to hide it, but perhaps he saw the Overlord moving out earlier on and knows that HyuN might be looking to fly that Overlord into this main base to scout that second gas and to also scout any tech that might be hidden behind the mineral line here. So potentially, oh, never mind. Of course, the Zerglings out the front cannot see that as well, and that's what he's kind of banking against, but HyuN was able to spot that instantaneously. And HyuN's got his own Baneling Nest a little bit further behind, so we're not going to see crazy aggression just from one side here. I think both players are just being very, very safe, wanting to make sure that if a knife fight accidentally erupts, that they have got some sort of weapon in their arsenal here. Now, Armani hasn't scouted the Baneling Nest, but he can kind of assume that HyuN would have had one as well in response to his own. And here comes a whole bunch of lings from HyuN moving in to the base of Armani. No workers killed just yet, by the way, so this looks scary. It really isn't at the moment. We have a Baneling and a Queen holding off on the ramp as well, which I think is great. And a couple more lings from Armani here mean that he should be able to stabilize. A bunch of Banelings coming in from HyuN. One of them instantly going down, though, and the second one going down to a minimal loss of Zerglings. This attack is not going to be able to continue. Behind this, HyuN has a significantly faster layer compared to Armani. Oh, pardon me. Sorry, it's Armani that has a significantly faster layer. Really sometimes hard to tell when they're both just in the corner and looking vaguely identical. So Armani behind this, after showing off the initial Baneling Nest, then opted to go for the layer almost straight away, and HyuN's going to get a full scout of this as well, thanks to these speedlings. Inside the main base, he's going to see comfortably what's going on here. We'll spot that there's no additional tech right now, and that Zergling is going down, so is that one, but he's gotten everything he needs to out of this scout. Now, there are more lings moving out across the map. That looks like 8 or 10? 10. Moving out towards the front here. HyuN has to be very, very careful. Armani is continuing to pressure with these forward-facing banelings, and he's saying, unless you commit a large number of Zerglings here, this isn't going to work. A whole bunch of banelings moving out now, 2 of them exploding for HyuN. Again, he's still trying to get into the base. This time he succeeds with 6 or 7 lings up into the main mineral line. That's going to be incredibly frustrating. There are still a couple of Zerglings and banelings down here. Looks like 1 baneling detonated on these workers. They should basically just go back to mining. Armani has defensive banelings, but they're only defensive banelings. There are no Zerglings, which means that HyuN can run around all day long. Now, the Spire has started, and it has been spotted by HyuN, by the way, and HyuN's going to be reasonably happy knowing that his own Spire is significantly faster. He's got 18 more lings coming out as well, so he wants to keep the pressure on, and that's because he's just taken his 3rd base. Note that Armani has no Overlord nearby and won't know that this 3rd base has been taken just yet. This looks like it could be the beginnings of a massive all-in attack from HyuN, but Armani has no way of knowing that HyuN's actually just trying to secure his 3rd base and get superior Mutalisk numbers up. Killing off the active creep tumor at the front there is going to be a little bit annoying for Armani. Both players, of course, benefit from having creep underneath those Zerg units, but Armani was using that for vision as well. And not being able to get any sort of vision. Oh, that's a pretty cool death animation on the ground there, as Armani moves out with a couple of defensive banelings. Means that HyuN has a little bit more flexibility to sort of posture units outside the main base here of Armani. 2 Spine Crawlers defensive banelings, though, should be more than enough to combat this in the meantime, and really, what HyuN is banking on is being able to get these Mutalisks out in good time. He's got his 3rd base down now as well. He's ahead by 2 workers, but I'm keeping an eye on when he's able to get another bunch of drones out as well, because he's going to start moving ahead in workers very, very soon if he's able to keep this status quo. 3 bases versus 2 bases is an excellent place to be in the long term, so HyuN has absolutely no problem with not... Ooh, very, very close there, but just about managing to get away. A couple of fried crickets, otherwise known as Zerglings, on the ground there, and the first Mutalisks are now out for Armani. Now let's go to the unit screen, which is going to be more important at this point. There are 8 Mutalisks versus 6 at the moment in favor of HyuN. The 3rd base for Armani is significantly slower. HyuN definitely has an edge right now as both sides look to clear out their opposing player's Overlord. Let's take a look at whether Armani has any Overlords left out on the map. No. What about HyuN? HyuN has 1. Oh, wow, and that 1 is actually in a splendid position, just out of sight, right behind the Spire inside the natural expansion. This could become an Overseer and could go in for a massive scout later on in the game. So keep an eye out for this Overlord, which could end up playing a big, big role. And look at this. What we were predicting earlier, HyuN now having 56 workers to 45 from Armani. Both sides going for +1 armor, but again, HyuN maybe maximizing the benefit of having the earlier Spire here. Looks like he's going to be able to get this through much, much sooner. Ooh, and picking off a Mutalisk for free in this early exchange as well. One of them almost going down. This is fantastic. 19 to 12 Mutalisks in favor of HyuN right now, and that actually puts him in a really good position if he can get a ground force together to potentially deny this 3rd base. If he denies a 3rd base of Armani, this could be huge, but Armani mounting a counterattack of his own, going to town on the worker line here, but he is losing Mutalisks in the process. Not 100% sure this is worth it. Sporecrawler going to be cleaning this up as well. If we look at the units lost tab, Armani has lost considerably more than HyuN, and HyuN's doing exactly what we were talking about earlier on, using the superior Mutalisk numbers and a small ground force to go ahead and hammer this 3rd base. There was a Spore Crawler, there was a Spine Crawler, not anymore, and with the Spore gone, the Mutalisk can basically keep watch over this. So this is fantastic. The reinforcing mutas are enough alone to brush Armani away, and 3 bases versus 2 in the long run is not going to be sustainable for Armani. He taps out GG, and ROCCAT HyuN, ladies and gentlemen, is going to win game number 1 of this best of 3.